I paid off my parents' mortgage for 3 straight years. But at the family dinner, my dad raised his glass and said, "Let's thank your brother for covering the house payments all this time." My brother smirked even though he never paid a cent. My mom just nodded proudly. I'm Adrian, 28, the quiet one who fixes problems without asking for credit. When Dad lost his job at the steel plant 3 years ago, I secretly took over their $1,300 monthly mortgage. Never missed a payment, never wanted recognition. It wasn't just the mortgage either. New tires when Mom's car failed inspection, $800. Emergency furnace repair in January, $1,200. The refrigerator that died last summer, another $900. Plumbing issues, electrical work, property taxes. I handled it all silently, thinking that's what family does. But lately, my brother Brandon had been acting like he owned the place, making decisions about renovations, telling relatives how he stepped up for the family. I'd overhear him on phone calls. "Yeah, I'm basically supporting them now. It's tough, but someone has to be responsible." The signs were everywhere. Aunt Linda praising Brandon at Easter. "Not every son would sacrifice like you do." Uncle Mike nodding approvingly at the 4th of July barbecue. "Your parents raised you right, Brandon. Most kids your age are selfish." Each time, Brandon would just smile and shrug modestly, like carrying such a financial burden was his noble cross to bear. Meanwhile, I'd sit there wondering if I was losing my mind or if everyone else was living in some alternate reality. At Dad's 58th birthday dinner, everything clicked into focus. The whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, about 15 people total. Dad stood up, emotional, voice shaking slightly from the beer and sentiment. "I want to acknowledge someone special tonight. 3 years ago, when I lost my job, I thought we might lose everything. Our home, our stability, everything we'd worked for. But Brandon stepped up without being asked, like a real man." Brandon raised his glass higher, accepting praise for my sacrifice with that trademark smirk. The whole family erupted in applause. My cousin Ashley wiped away actual tears. "That's true love right there. That's what family means." I sat there completely invisible, watching my brother bask in credit for every penny I'd sacrificed. Every late night I'd worked overtime to cover their bills. I didn't make a scene. I just pulled out my phone, went to my banking app, and canceled the automatic payments. Then I did something else. I requested a full refund for erroneous charges from the past 6 months through the bank's fraud protection service. The bank's fraud department called Brandon directly since his name was on some of the paperwork as a cosigner. That was Tuesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, Dad called me, voice tight with confusion and anger. "The mortgage payment bounced. The bank says there's some kind of fraud investigation going on. What the hell happened?" "I canceled it," I said calmly, and reported the payments as unauthorized since Brandon's been taking credit for them. "Why would you do something like that?" "Because Sunday night, you thanked Brandon for 3 years of payments he never made. You praised him in front of 15 family members for my money, my sacrifice. Maybe he can handle the next payment himself since he's so generous." Dead silence. Then, "Adrian, you're being overdramatic. Brandon helps in other ways around the house." "Name one," I interrupted. "Name one bill Brandon has actually paid, one repair he's funded, one sacrifice he's actually made instead of just taking credit for mine." More uncomfortable silence. "The bank wants documentation of who authorized the payments," I continued. "I have 3 years of bank statements, receipts, transaction records. Everything traces back to my account. Want to guess what Brandon has to show them? Son, we can work this out like adults. You had 3 years to work it out, Dad. You want to know the real reason I stayed quiet?" I heard him breathing heavy. "Grandma's inheritance? The $40,000 she left when she died 4 years ago? She left it specifically to me in her will because I was the only one who visited her in the nursing home. But you convinced me to put it in a family account for emergencies. I agreed because I trusted you." My voice dropped. "I just found out Brandon's been pulling from that account for 3 years. The balance is $600. That inheritance was supposed to be my house down payment, my future. I called Grandma's estate attorney an hour ago. He pulled the original will. Turns out what Brandon did is theft, and the statute of limitations hasn't expired yet." Dad went completely silent. Then I heard Mom screaming in the background asking what inheritance money. I hung up the phone and just sat there in my apartment for like 5 minutes, staring at the wall. My hands were shaking, honestly. 3 years of keeping quiet, 3 years of working double shifts, 3 years of watching Brandon take credit for my sacrifices. And now it was all out there. My phone started blowing up immediately. Dad calling back, Mom calling, even Brandon. I ignored all of them. I needed to think. But you know what? I realized I was done thinking. I'd been thinking for 3 years while everyone else had been living their comfortable lives. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to my parents' house. The whole drive over, I kept replaying Dad's toast in my head. Brandon stepped up without being asked, like a real man. Yeah, right. When I pulled up, Brandon's truck was sitting in the driveway. That stupid lifted Chevy he'd bought last year with my inheritance money. The lights were all on inside. I could see shadows moving behind the curtains. I walked up to the front door and didn't even bother knocking. Inside, the scene was exactly what I expected. Brandon was standing in the living room, my parents on the couch. He was talking fast, hands waving around. "I'm telling you, there's been some kind of banking error. I've been making payments through a different account. I can provide documentation." Mom looked up when I walked in. Her face was red, eyes puffy. She'd been crying. Dad just looked pale, sitting there with his hands clasped together. "Oh, good. You're here," Brandon said, turning to me. His voice had that fake casual tone he uses when he's cornered. "Maybe you can help clear this up. Tell them about the mix-up with the accounts." I didn't say anything. I just walked over to the kitchen table and dropped the folder I'd been carrying. It landed with a heavy thud. 3 years of bank statements, every single one highlighted with my account number in yellow. "What's this?" Dad asked. "Documentation," I said. Brandon mentioned he could provide some. I thought I'd save him the trouble. Mom stood up and came over to the table. Her hands were shaking as she picked up the first statement. "January 2022. Mortgage payment $1,300 from my account. February 2022. Same thing." She started flipping through them faster, page after page after page. Brandon tried to grab them from her. "Mom, you don't need to. Don't touch me," she snapped. Actually snapped at him. I'd never heard her use that tone with Brandon before. She kept going through the statements, her lips moving slightly as she read. I pulled out my phone and opened the banking app. "Want to see something else?" I turned the screen toward them. "Grandma's inheritance account, the one that was supposed to have $40,000 in it." Dad leaned forward, squinting at the screen. $600, he read aloud. His voice cracked on the number. "That's impossible," Brandon said. "There's got to be." "I also have Grandma's original will," I interrupted. I swiped to the PDF. "She left that money specifically to me. You convinced me to put it in a family account for emergencies, remember, Dad?" Well, turns out Brandon's been treating his entire life as an emergency. "Brandon." Dad stood up, his jaw tight. "Show me your phone, your banking app, right now." "My phone's dead," Brandon said immediately. "Bullshit," I said. "I saw you on it in the driveway when I pulled up." "Adrian, listen." Brandon started toward the door. I stepped in front of it. "No, you're not leaving. Move. Make me." We stood there for a second, and honestly, I think Brandon actually considered it. He's bigger than me, always has been, but Dad got between us. "Both of you, enough." Mom was still at the table, crying now, actual tears running down her face as she looked at the bank statements. "Brandon," she said, her voice small, "did you take money from the inheritance account?" Silence. You could hear the kitchen clock ticking. "Brandon," Dad said, "answer your mother." "I borrowed some," Brandon finally admitted. His voice got quieter. "For car payments, apartment deposits. I was going to pay it back." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "Borrowed?" I went back to my phone and pulled up the transaction history. Let's see. May 2022, $3,200 withdrawal. July 2022, $2,800. September 2022, $4,100. I kept scrolling. Oh, here's a good one. November 2023, $12,000. You know what that was for, Dad? Brandon's motorcycle. The one sitting in your driveway right now. Dad's face went white. Actually white. $12,000? For a motorcycle, I repeated. While I was covering your mortgage, your utilities, your car repairs, your everything. Brandon was buying toys with Grandma's money, the money she left me because I was the only one who visited her. Remember, Brandon? You were always too busy to go to the nursing home, said it was too depressing. "That's not fair," Brandon said. "You want to talk about fair?" My voice was getting louder now. "You let me work 60-hour weeks for 3 years. You watched me skip vacations, skip nights out with friends, skip my own life to keep Mom and Dad's house from foreclosure. And then you stood there at that birthday dinner and took credit for all of it. You smiled and nodded while everyone praised you for being such a good son. Do you know what that felt like? You always made more money anyway," Brandon shouted back. "You got the better job, the better opportunities. I was just trying to keep up by stealing from me. It's not stealing if it's family money. It was my money." I was yelling now too. "Grandma left it to me. In her will. Which you saw, by the way. You were at the reading." Dad sank back down onto the couch, his head in his hands. Mom was just standing there holding the bank statements, tears still running down her face. I pulled up my text messages. "You want to hear something funny?" I saved these. I started reading. Text from Brandon to Aunt Linda, March 2023. "Hey Aunt L, just checking in. Been really tough covering Mom and Dad's bills lately. The mortgage is killing me, but someone's got to do it, right? Hope you're doing well." I looked up at Brandon. "Aunt Linda told me about that text at Easter. She pulled me aside and said how proud she was of you." Brandon's face was red now. I was just... Here's another one. June 2023. To Uncle Mike. "Been working overtime to help the parents. Financial burden is real, but family comes first. That's what Grandma would have wanted. Uncle Mike bought you dinner because of that text. Remember? He said you deserved a night off from all your stress." "I felt like a failure," Brandon suddenly shouted. "Okay, is that what you want to hear? I felt like shit compared to you. You've always been smarter, more successful, more everything. People respect you without you even trying. I just wanted people to respect me for once." "So, you stole my inheritance and lied to our entire family?" I needed them to see me as more than Adrian's screw-up brother. Mom made a sound, something between a gasp and a sob. Brandon, how could you? You don't understand. I understand you stole from your brother, Dad said. His voice was flat. I understand you let your mother and me believe we were being helped by you when it was Adrian all along. I understand you made us complicit in this lie. Dad, I thanked you, Dad continued. At my birthday dinner, in front of everyone, I thanked you for sacrifices you never made. The room went quiet except for Mom crying. I picked up the bank statements, put them back in the folder. I'm done, I said. I'm done covering for you, done enabling you, done pretending this is a functional family. The bank's already investigating the fraud. The mortgage company has the bounced payment notice. You figure it out. I walked to the door. Adrian, wait, Mom said. Please. We can… You knew, I said, turning back. Didn't you? You knew Brandon was taking money from the inheritance. She didn't answer, which was answer enough. How much did you know? We thought it was just a few $100s, she said quietly. For emergencies. $40,000 in withdrawals over 3 years, and you thought it was just a few hundred? Silence. You chose him, I said. You chose protecting Brandon over being honest with me. You chose comfortable lies over your other son. That's what hurts the most. Not what he did. What you let him do. I left before anyone could respond. Drove back to my apartment with my phone buzzing the entire way. I turned it off when I got home. The next morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls. 19 from Dad, 15 from Mom, 8 from Brandon, and 5 from Aunt Linda. I made coffee and listened to exactly one voicemail. It was from Aunt Linda, calling at midnight. Adrian, honey, your dad called me. He's devastated. He told me what really happened. About the mortgage, about the inheritance. I need you to call me back. This is important. I called her back. She picked up on the first ring. Adrian? Yeah, it's me. Oh, thank God. Listen, I don't even know where to start. Your father told me everything last night. He was crying, Adrian. I've never heard your father cry before. Aunt Linda, let me finish. Brandon came to me 2 months ago. He said your parents were struggling with property taxes. He said they were too proud to ask for help. He asked me for $2,000. The coffee cup stopped halfway to my mouth. What? I gave it to him. I thought I was helping your parents, but the property taxes were never an issue. Were they? No, I said slowly. They weren't. That son of a bitch, she said. I'm sorry, I know he's your brother, but that son of a bitch scammed me. My mind was racing. Aunt Linda, I need you to do me a favor. Anything. Think back. Did Brandon ask anyone else for money? Any other relatives? I don't know. Maybe? Oh God, Adrian, do you think? I think we need to find out. I spent the next hour creating a family group chat. Everyone except Brandon. Aunts, uncles, cousins. 23 people total. I typed out a message, deleted it, typed it again. Finally, I just went with the truth. I need to tell you all something. For the past 3 years, I've been paying Mom and Dad's mortgage. Not Brandon. I have bank statements to prove it. I also just discovered Brandon has been stealing from Grandma's inheritance that she left to me. Nearly $40,000 is gone. Aunt Linda just informed me that Brandon asked her for $2,000 2 months ago, claiming it was for Mom and Dad's property taxes. It wasn't. The property taxes were paid. I'm asking, did anyone else give Brandon money for Mom and Dad's expenses? I hit send and watched the message deliver. Then I watched the typing bubbles appear. Uncle Mike responded first. He asked me for $1,500 for a roof repair last October. I gave it to him. Cousin Ashley was next. I sent $800 for medical bills in December. Then Aunt Linda confirmed her $2,000. My phone started ringing immediately. Uncle Mike, I answered. Adrian, I'm looking at my records right now. I wrote him a check for $1,500 in October. Roof repair, he said. Emergency situation. Your mom was apparently very worried about it. There was no roof repair, I said. I would have known. I was the one handling all their repairs. Jesus Christ. Uncle Mike, can you add up what you gave him and post it in the group chat? I want everyone to see the total. Over the next hour, the responses came in. Uncle Mike, $1,500. Aunt Linda, $2,000. Cousin Ashley, $800. Aunt Karen, $600 for supposedly urgent furnace issues I'd already fixed. Cousin Jordan, $400 for groceries. The total came to $4,300. The group chat exploded. People were furious. Some were asking how this could have happened. Some were demanding Brandon pay them back. Some were just sending angry emojis. Then Dad joined the chat. Everyone, this is Gerald. I'm asking you all to please calm down. Yes, Brandon made mistakes, but he's still family. We need to… I left the group chat. Just exited right there. I couldn't do it. Couldn't watch Dad defend him again. My phone buzzed with a private message. Uncle Mike, call me. I called. Adrian, I want copies of everything. Bank statements, transaction records, text messages, everything you have on what Brandon did. Why? Because I'm not letting this go. That kid scammed our family for thousands of dollars. I don't care if your father wants to sweep it under the rug. I want documentation. Uncle Mike, your grandmother was my mother too, Adrian. She left you that money for a reason. She knew you'd do right by it. And watching that little punk steal it and then lie to everyone, he paused. I'll email you my address. Send me everything. After I hung up, Brandon created his own group text. I got added automatically before I could stop it. His message was long, rambling. Everyone, I know you're upset. I get it. But Adrian is twisting things. The inheritance money was supposed to be for the whole family, not just him. Grandma would have wanted us all to benefit. And yeah, I asked some of you for help, but I was genuinely trying to support Mom and Dad. Adrian's making it sound worse than it is because he's angry. I got recognition for once in my life. He's always been jealous that Aunt Linda cut him off. Brandon, stop. I gave you $2,000 for property taxes. Was there a property tax bill? Silence in the chat. That's what I thought. You lied to me. You lied to all of us. Aunt Linda, if you just let me explain. Explain what? How you bought a motorcycle with your brother's inheritance money? How you let Adrian work himself to death while you partied? Brandon left the group chat. Just disappeared. My phone rang again. Mom, this time. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Adrian, please. Her voice was wrecked from crying. Please don't destroy your brother's reputation. He made mistakes, yes, but he's still your brother. If you do this, if you let Uncle Mike have all that information, Brandon will never recover from it. Mom, I said slowly, did you hear yourself just now? What? You just asked me to protect Brandon's reputation, not to protect him from consequences, not to help him become a better person, just his reputation. That's not what Did you know? I interrupted. Did you and Dad know Brandon was taking money from the inheritance? She was quiet for a long moment, then barely audible. We knew he took some. How much did you think he took? A few $100s, maybe 1,000 at most, for emergencies. It was 40,000, Mom. $40,000 over 3 years. And you never once asked to see his bank statements? Never once wondered why he suddenly had money for a motorcycle, for a new truck, for his apartment? We thought he was doing well at work. He works at a car dealership making $35,000 a year. How did you think he was affording all that? Silence. You knew? I said. Maybe not the full extent, but you knew something was wrong and you chose not to ask questions. Because asking questions meant admitting Brandon wasn't the son you thought he was. It meant admitting you needed me more than you needed him. And that would have broken your perfect image of this family. Adrian, that's not fair. You're right. What's not fair is working 3 years of overtime to save your house while my brother stole my future. What's not fair is watching him get praised for my sacrifices. What's not fair is finding out my own parents enabled it because they were too afraid to face the truth. I'm your mother. Then act like it, I said. Stop protecting the son who doesn't need it and start acknowledging the one who's been holding this family together. I hung up. Dad called my workplace the next day. I was in a meeting when my boss poked his head in. Adrian, sorry to interrupt, but your father's called 3 times. He says it's a family emergency. I excused myself and called Dad back. There's no emergency. Don't call my work again. Son, we need to talk. Can you meet me somewhere? No, please, just an hour. There's a diner near your place, the one on Morrison Street. Against my better judgment, I agreed. I met him there at 6 p.m. He was already in a booth, coffee in front of him, looking like he'd aged 10 years in 2 days. Thanks for coming, he said as I slid into the seat across from him. You have an hour, he nodded. Adrian, I'm going to be straight with you. We need your help. No, you haven't even heard. I don't need to hear it, Dad. The answer is no. The mortgage company sent another notice. We're 15 days from foreclosure proceedings if we don't pay. With late fees, it's almost $2,000 now. Then pay it. We can't. You know we can't. Then sell the house. Downsize. Figure it out. His jaw tightened. You're really going to let us lose our home? You lost it 3 years ago when you lost your job, I said. You've been living in my house since then. You just didn't want to acknowledge it. That's not. Let me ask you something, Dad. If Brandon had been making those payments like you thought, and then he stopped, would you be this angry at him? He didn't answer. Of course you wouldn't, because it's expected that I sacrifice and Brandon gets rewarded. That's always been the dynamic. I'm the responsible one, so I'm supposed to just handle things. Brandon's the troubled one, so everyone makes excuses for him. I'm done with that. What do you want me to say? Dad's voice cracked. That I screwed up? Fine. I screwed up. I should have questioned things. I should have paid attention. I should have protected you instead of enabling Brandon. Is that what you want to hear? I want you to understand that you didn't just enable him. You chose him. Over and over again. Every time someone praised him and you said nothing, you chose him. Every time you saw me working myself to death and you accepted it as normal, you chose him. Every time you knew something was off with the money and you didn't ask questions, you chose him. Dad put his head in his hands. What do you want me to do? I want you to let him face consequences. Real consequences. Not this, oh, Brandon made mistakes bullshit. He stole from me. He scammed our family. He committed actual fraud. And instead of holding him accountable, you're sitting here asking me to bail you out again. He's my son. So am I. My voice came out louder than I meant it to. A couple at the next table looked over. I lowered my voice. So am I, Dad? But you've never fought for me the way you fight for him. You've never protected me the way you protect him. I'm the one who's been protecting you, and you didn't even notice until the payments stopped. We sat there in silence for a while. Dad's coffee got cold. Finally, he spoke. Your mother and I will figure out the mortgage. We won't ask you for anything else. But please, Adrian, for my sake, if not for hers, don't let this destroy the family completely. The family destroyed itself, I said, standing up. I'm just the one who stopped pretending it hadn't. I left him sitting there, drove home thinking about how we'd gotten here, how 3 years of silent sacrifice had led to this moment, sitting across from my father in a diner, feeling more alone than I ever had. Brandon tried to get a loan the next week. I know because his credit union is the same as mine, and my buddy Tyler works there. He called me. Hey man, your brother just applied for a pretty big personal loan. I can't give you details, but let's just say it's not looking good for him. How not good? Let's just say his credit score is, well, he's got some debt. And the amount he's asking for? No way that's getting approved. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, man. Also, between you and me, the guy was kind of a dick when I told him we needed additional information. Got all angry, said I didn't understand his situation. I'm like, dude, I don't set the lending criteria. I just work here. Brandon also tried to sell his motorcycle. I know because he posted it in a local Facebook group that I follow. $14,000 OBO, great condition, must sell as soon as possible. The comments were brutal. People pointing out similar bikes selling for $7,000, asking why his was priced so high. Someone else commented that the bike book value was only $9,000, and he still probably owed more than that on the loan. He deleted the post after an hour. My phone buzzed. Brandon calling. I answered this time. Adrian. His voice was tight. I'm trying to make this right. I'm trying to get the money together to pay you back. How's that going? Not great, okay? But I'm working on it. I just need some time. You had 3 years, Brandon. You had 3 years to not steal from me. Now you want more time? I'm willing to work out a payment plan. $200 a month. That's all I can afford, but I'll do it. I swear. $200 a month, I repeated. At that rate, it'll take you 16 years to pay back the $40,000, assuming you never miss a payment, which we both know you will. It's better than nothing. I hung up. Uncle Mike called an hour later. Adrian, heads up, I'm organizing a family meeting this Sunday at my house. I didn't tell Brandon. Uncle Mike, I don't want to. You don't have to come if you don't want to, but I think people need to talk about this in person. This group chat thing is getting out of hand. Your dad's trying to play peacemaker, your mom's crying in every message, and Brandon sent me 4 separate texts trying to explain himself. We need to actually sit down and figure this out. Sunday came. I almost didn't go. Sat in my apartment for an hour trying to decide. Finally, I figured, what the hell? Might as well face everyone at once. Uncle Mike's house was packed when I got there. Aunt Linda, Uncle Mike, Aunt Karen, Uncle Pete, Cousin Ashley, Cousin Jordan, and about 5 others. Mom and Dad were there too, sitting together on the couch looking miserable. Okay, Uncle Mike said once everyone settled. Let's talk about this like adults. Adrian, you want to start? Not really. Fair enough. Then I'll start. He looked around the room. I've gone through all the documentation Adrian sent me. Bank statements, transaction records, text messages. Everything checks out. For 3 years, Adrian paid his parents' mortgage. For 3 years, Brandon took credit for it. Additionally, Brandon systematically withdrew nearly $40,000 from an inheritance account that was legally Adrian's. And, on top of that, Brandon scammed at least 5 of us for a total of $4,300 by claiming he needed money for his parents' expenses that Adrian was already covering. Aunt Karen raised her hand. I just want to say, I think we all need to chip in and help Adrian's parents keep the house. They're innocent in this. Are they, though? I said. Everyone looked at me. They knew Brandon was taking money from the inheritance. They admitted it to me. Maybe they didn't know how much, but they knew, and they didn't stop it. Dad started to speak, but Uncle Mike cut him off. Gerald, let him finish. They let Brandon take credit for my work for 3 years, I continued. They never once questioned where he was getting money. They never once acknowledged what I was doing. And when everything came out, their first instinct was to protect Brandon, not to apologize to me. So no, I don't think they're innocent. But they're still your parents, Aunt Linda said gently. And they're going to lose their home. That's not Adrian's problem, Uncle Mike said. If we all start covering their mortgage, we're just enabling the same pattern that got us here. We'd be teaching them that they can ignore their problems and someone will always bail them out. So what, we just let them become homeless? Aunt Karen asked. They won't be homeless, I said. They can sell the house, move somewhere smaller, start over, like everyone else does when they can't afford their mortgage. The room got really quiet. Mom was crying silently. Dad was staring at the floor. I think Adrian's being unnecessarily cruel, Aunt Karen finally said. I understand he's hurt, but cutting off his parents completely? That's extreme. I think he's protecting himself, Uncle Pete said. And honestly, good for him. This family has taken advantage of his generosity for years. Maybe it's time everyone learned to stand on their own. The group split pretty evenly. Some people thought I was being too harsh. Some thought I was completely justified. The argument went on for almost 2 hours. People got heated. Voices were raised. At one point, Aunt Karen and Uncle Mike were actually yelling at each other about family obligations versus personal boundaries. Finally, I stood up. I didn't come here to be put on trial. I came because Uncle Mike asked me to. But clearly this is just becoming another referendum on whether I'm a good enough son. So I'm leaving. Adrian, wait, Mom said, standing up. No, Mom. I'm done waiting. I waited 3 years for you to notice what I was doing. I waited through Brandon's lies. I waited through Dad's speech at the birthday dinner. I'm done waiting for this family to see me as something other than the backup plan. I walked out, heard the arguing continue behind me as I left. When I got home, my phone was full of messages, some supportive, some critical. I turned it off and went to bed. Monday morning, I turned my phone back on to find a text from Brandon's girlfriend, Nicole. Adrian, it's Nicole. We need to talk. Call me when you can. I called her. Hey, Nicole. Oh my God, you actually called. Okay, so I need to know if what I'm hearing is true. Did Brandon really steal from you? Yeah. How much? $40,000 from my inheritance. Plus, he was taking credit for mortgage payments I was making. Silence. Then, are you fucking kidding me? I wish I was. He told me. She paused. He told me his family was struggling and he was helping support them. He said that's why he couldn't afford to take me on vacation. That's why we always split everything 50-50 even though he supposedly made more than me. He said he was being responsible, taking care of family. He was lying. Yeah, I'm getting that now. Jesus Christ. I've been dating him for 2 years and he's been lying to me the whole time? Apparently. Did he lie about other stuff too? Like, is there anything else I should know? Nicole, I don't know what he's told you, but if he lied about this, he probably lied about other things too. She let out a long breath. Okay, I need to process this. Thanks for telling me the truth, Adrian. I know we've only met a couple times, but I appreciate it. No problem. She called me back that night. I broke up with him. Oh, yeah. Told him I can't be with someone who scams their own family. He got really defensive. Said I didn't understand the whole story. I told him I understood enough. Then he actually said it was your fault for telling me. Of course he did. The crazy thing is, he actually seems to believe he's the victim in all this. Like, genuinely believes you're the one being unreasonable. It's wild. That's Brandon. Well, you're better off without him dragging you down. And for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Standing up for yourself, I mean. Thanks, Nicole. After we hung up, I got a text from Brandon. A long, angry one about how I'd ruined his relationship, how I was destroying his life, how I was a selfish asshole who couldn't just let things go. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Dad. Adrian, your mother and I managed to make a payment. Okay, we pulled from our retirement account. Bought us another month. That's not sustainable, Dad. I know. I also got a part-time job at Bennett's Hardware. Starts Monday. $14 an hour. Good. Your mom's doing bookkeeping from home now. We're bringing in about $2,100 a month combined. I did the math in my head. That barely covers the mortgage. I know. We've applied for food stamps. Never thought I'd see the day, but there it is. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Dad spoke again. Brandon's moving back in. What? He can't afford his apartment anymore. He's breaking his lease, paying the penalty and moving back here. He'll be in his old room by the end of the month. Dad, you can barely afford to feed yourselves and you're taking in another person? He's our son, Adrian. We can't let him be homeless. He's 30 years old. I know. And he stole $40,000 from me. I know. And you're still choosing him, Adrian. Let me know how that works out for you, I said, and hung up. Thanksgiving was 3 weeks away. Mom called and asked if I'd come to dinner. I said no. She started crying, saying the family was falling apart and it was breaking her heart. I told her the family fell apart the moment everyone chose comfortable lies over the truth. She begged me to at least think about it. I didn't think about it. I knew what my answer was. On Thanksgiving Day, I got a text from Uncle Mike. Having people over. You're invited. No Brandon, no drama. Just good food and people who actually respect you. I showed up at noon. Aunt Linda was there, Uncle Pete, Cousin Ashley, and a few others. About half the family, basically. The ones who hadn't taken sides against me. Where's everyone else? I asked. At your parents' house, Uncle Mike said, flipping burgers. Figured they'd do the obligatory family thing. We're doing the actual family thing. The day was good, really good. People asked how I was doing, not in that pitying way, but genuine interest. We talked about work, life, normal stuff. Nobody brought up Brandon or the mortgage or the drama. It was the first family event I'd enjoyed in years. Around 4 p.m., Aunt Linda pulled me aside. You know, I heard Brandon's working at a warehouse now. Yeah? Apparently he's miserable. Night shifts, physical labor, not what he's used to. Good, I said. She smiled. I thought you might say that. For what it's worth, Adrian, I'm proud of you. Takes guts to stand up to family like you did. Thanks, Aunt Linda. The week after Thanksgiving, Dad ended up in the ER with chest pains. Mom called me at 11 p.m., hysterical. Your father's in the hospital. You need to come. Is it serious? They think it might be his heart. Please, Adrian. I drove to the hospital, found Mom in the waiting room, Brandon next to her. He looked up when I walked in, then quickly looked away. Where is he? I asked Mom. They're running tests. They won't tell me anything. We waited for 2 hours. Finally, a doctor came out. Mrs. Patterson? Yes, that's me. Your husband had a panic attack, not a heart attack. His heart is fine, but his blood pressure was dangerously high and he's severely dehydrated. We're going to keep him overnight for observation. Oh, thank God, Mom said, crying. The doctor looked at her seriously. Mrs. Patterson, your husband is under an enormous amount of stress. His body is showing signs of chronic stress. If he doesn't make significant lifestyle changes, he's at serious risk for actual heart problems. After the doctor left, Mom turned to me. The ER bill is going to be at least $3,000. Then set up a payment plan. That's what everyone else does. Adrian, I'm not paying for it, Mom. He's your father, and he's been praising Brandon for 3 years while I kept him housed. Figure it out. I left before she could respond. Brandon texted me that night. You're really not going to help with Dad's medical bills? No, he could have died, but he didn't. And even if he had, that wouldn't change the fact that you stole from me and he let you. You're a heartless bastard, you know that? I screenshot the message and posted it to the family group chat with a caption. Brandon, who stole $40,000 from my inheritance and scammed relatives out of thousands, he is calling me heartless for not paying Dad's medical bills. The chat exploded, people going at each other again. I muted it and went to bed. A few days later, Uncle Pete called. Hey, Adrian, got a minute? Yeah, what's up? I've been thinking about your situation, about you being stuck in this toxic family dynamic, and I wanted to offer you something, okay? I run a construction company out in Colorado. We're expanding and I need a senior project manager. Pay is significantly better than what you're making now. Housing costs are lower. You'd have a fresh start, away from all this bullshit. Uncle Pete, I don't know anything about construction. You know project management, right? Budgets, timelines, coordination. That's what I need. The construction part, you'll learn. The offer stands if you want it. Think about it. I did think about it, more than I wanted to admit. The idea of leaving, starting over somewhere else was tempting, but something held me back. Not family loyalty, exactly. More like morbid curiosity. I wanted to see how this played out. Christmas season came. Mom called to try to organize a small family gathering. I declined. She said only Dad's sister was coming anyway. Everyone else had made excuses. I didn't feel bad about it. I spent Christmas with Uncle Mike and his family again. Ashley was there with her husband. Uncle Pete flew in. We had a good time. Normal. Peaceful. In early January, Dad called. His voice was different. Defeated. Adrian, the mortgage payment bounced again. Okay. We had to choose between your mom's car repair and the house payment. The car won because without it we can't get to work. Makes sense. The bank sent another notice. I just wanted you to know. Not asking for anything, just keeping you informed. Dad? Yeah? If you'd been making these payments for 3 years and then stopped, would you expect me to take care of it? Long pause. Probably not. Then you understand. We hung up. I felt something then. Not satisfaction, exactly. Maybe a flicker of sympathy. But I remembered Mom crying at the birthday dinner when Brandon was praised. I remembered Dad's face when he called Brandon a real man. I remembered 3 years of silence. The sympathy passed. Brandon got written up at his warehouse job for poor attendance and attitude. I know because his supervisor, Dave, goes to my gym. We got talking one day and he mentioned it. Got this new kid, Brandon something. Total pain in the ass. Shows up late, complains constantly, treats everyone like the job is beneath him. I'm about 2 incidents away from firing him. That so? Yeah. You know what gets me? He acts like we're lucky to have him. Meanwhile, he's the worst employee we've hired in 6 months. I didn't tell Dave that Brandon was my brother. Didn't seem relevant. Brandon started posting on social media. Vague stuff about ungrateful siblings and toxic family members. About how he was the real victim. How people didn't understand his side of the story. Several relatives screenshot the posts and sent them to me. I didn't respond to any of it. February came. Uncle Mike called. Adrian, I've been thinking about something. Wanted to run it by you first. What's up? Your parents are drowning. They're going to lose the house. And honestly, I think that might be what needs to happen. But I don't want them actually homeless or stuck in some crappy situation. So Aunt Linda and I discussed buying the house from them at market value. They'd become tenants, pay what they can afford in rent, which would be substantially less than the mortgage. They stay in their home, but the burden of ownership is off them. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to know if you have any objections. If you think it's enabling them, I won't do it. But if you think it's a reasonable solution, I'm willing to make the investment. I thought about it. Will Brandon be living there? As far as I know, yes. Then tell them Brandon has to pay market rate rent, not family rate, actual market rate, $400 minimum. I like that. And Uncle Mike? Thanks for asking. Most people wouldn't have. Your family, Adrian. Real family. The kind that actually shows up. Uncle Mike made the offer to my parents a week later. Dad initially refused, said he wouldn't accept charity. Mike explained it wasn't charity, it was a business investment. Mom was more practical, urged Dad to consider it. Brandon argued against it. Didn't want his uncle as his landlord. My parents finally realized Brandon's vote didn't matter since he'd contributed nothing. They accepted the offer after a week of consideration. The sale closed in late February. Their new rent was $900 monthly, less than the mortgage and property taxes combined. For the first time in months, they could breathe. Brandon was furious. Had to pay Uncle Mike $400 monthly for rent. Between his warehouse job and this new expense, he was barely scraping by. No money for going out, no money for anything beyond basics. His social media posts got more bitter. His old friends started distancing themselves. Word had gotten around about what he did. Small town, everyone knows everyone's business eventually. Valentine's Day, Brandon saw photos on Facebook of Nicole with someone new, his ex-girlfriend, looking happy. He showed up at my apartment at midnight, drunk, pounding on my door and yelling about how I ruined his life. I didn't open the door, called Uncle Mike instead. He came and got Brandon, drove him back home. Mike called me after. "Adrian," I warned him. "One more incident like this and he's evicted. I don't care if he's family." The next morning, Brandon texted me, a long apology, said he knew he messed up, said he was drowning in shame and regret, admitted he was jealous of my success and made terrible choices, asked if there was any way to make things right. I read it but didn't respond for 3 days. Finally, I replied, "You can start by being honest with yourself about why you did it and stop blaming everyone else for consequences you earned." Brandon apparently took that as hope, started making small efforts, paid Aunt Linda back $200 of the $2,000 he owed her, gave Uncle Mike an extra $50 beyond his rent as thanks, showed up to work on time for 2 weeks straight. People noticed. Most remained skeptical, though. Brandon had shown temporary good behavior before, only to slip back into old patterns. March came around. My birthday. My parents sent a card with a handwritten note saying they were sorry for everything. They understood if I never forgave them, but they loved me. No money in the card, just the note. I put it in a drawer and didn't respond. Uncle Mike threw me a birthday dinner, just the people who'd stuck by me. Uncle Pete, Aunt Linda, Ashley and her husband, a few others. It was the first birthday in years where I actually enjoyed myself. No forced smiles, no uncomfortable tension. Just people who genuinely wanted to celebrate with me. Brandon heard about the dinner he wasn't invited to, confronted Mom and Dad about why the family was freezing him out. Mom explained that trust isn't rebuilt overnight. People need space. Brandon argued he was making efforts and nobody acknowledged them. Dad told him 2 months of trying doesn't erase 3 years of lies and theft. Brandon stormed out, drove around for hours, finally came back and went straight to his room. A week later, I got a promotion at work. Senior manager. $20,000 annual raise. I called Uncle Pete to tell him, "Congratulations, kid. That's huge. Thanks. Hey, that job offer in Colorado still stands. With your new salary and experience, I could match it and throw in relocation expenses. Just so you know, I appreciate it, Uncle Pete. You thought about it at all? About getting out of there? More than I want to admit," I said, honestly. Some days I pass someone from the family at the grocery store, and it's just awkward, painful. Yeah, I've thought about leaving. There's no shame in it, Adrian. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away from toxicity, even if it's family. I'll think about it seriously this time. You do that. Brandon's warehouse cut his hours to 32 weekly. Mandatory overtime ended, and his paycheck took a hit. He struggled to make rent to Uncle Mike. Asked Mom and Dad for help. They had nothing to spare. Their budget was already stretched thin with Dad's hardware store job and Mom's bookkeeping. Brandon swallowed his pride and texted me, "Adrian, I need to ask you something. Can you loan me $200 for rent? Just this once. I'll pay you back." My response was immediate. "No. Figure it out the way I figured out how to cover your lifestyle for 3 years. He didn't respond. Picked up a weekend job delivering food instead. Now he was working 7 days a week between the warehouse and delivery. He looked exhausted every time someone saw him. Finally, maybe, understanding what I'd been doing for 3 years. He never shared that realization with anyone, though. Just quietly kept working. April arrived. Mom reached out asking if we could meet for coffee. Just the two of us. I agreed, but chose a neutral location. A Starbucks 20 minutes from both our places. She was already there when I arrived. Looked older than I remembered. Tired. Her hands shook slightly as she held her coffee cup. "Thanks for coming," she said. I nodded, ordered my coffee, sat down across from her. "I'm not going to ask you for anything," she said. "I'm not going to make excuses. I just needed you to hear something from me." "Okay, I'm sorry," her voice cracked. "I'm sorry for not protecting you. I'm sorry for enabling Brandon. I'm sorry for taking your sacrifices for granted. I'm sorry for every time I should have spoken up and didn't. Every time I should have questioned things and chose not to. Every time I chose the easier path instead of the right one." She was crying now. "You deserved better from us. From me. You deserved parents who saw what you were doing and appreciated it. You deserved a mother who protected all her children equally, not just the one who needed her more. I failed you, Adrian, and I understand if you never want a relationship with us again, but I needed you to know that I know we failed you." I listened, didn't interrupt, didn't offer comfort or forgiveness, just listened. When she finished, I said, "Thank you for saying that. Does it change anything?" "I don't know yet," I said honestly. Maybe not. I need time." "I understand." We sat there for a few more minutes, neither of us knowing what else to say. Finally, I stood up. "I need to get to work." She nodded. "Adrian, yeah? I really am proud of you. I should have said that more." I left without responding.